Before we dive into the blood-soaked madness of this 88 film slasher classic collection review, a quick heads up for listeners and viewers alike. These episodes come straight from the podcast Under the Stairs archives, recorded before the launch of the YouTube channel and long before video podcasts became part of the show. These reviews were originally crafted purely for audio. So if the production feels a little rougher around the edges or a little more stripped back than current episodes, that's because you're hearing the show in its earlier form, raw, passionate, and let's be honest, a little waffly at times. Whether you're revisiting these reviews or discovering them for the first time, please sit back and relax and enjoy this trip through the golden age of mass killers, inventive gore, and VH era nightmares. This podcast is not safe for work and will feature movie spoilers. It will feature scenes described of a graphic nature. It will contain language which most listeners may find offensive. Welcome to the podcast Under the Stairs. Hi everyone and welcome to the podcast Under the Stairs. This is your Sunday 88 film slasher classic collection of reviews. I'm your host Duncan. Welcome to the show. Up on this episode we are looking at disc number 36 in the collection. This one is Offerings. We're going to get to a review of that movie right after the first break. Before we get to that, welcome. I feel so fucking lazy this week. I literally this is the third episode and final episode of the week, and this always happens right off the back of October where I feel like I've done nothing. I feel like I've done everything except podcast, and there's a weirdness that comes with that. The kind of main thing is that I get into a rhythm, so to speak, of putting out several shows a week, and that rhythm, I know what you're thinking, 3 shows is still quite a bit, but you know, I get into a rhythm of like every second day I'll be doing something pod related, and when I go like more than those 2 days without necessarily doing anything pod related, I don't feel like I lose my groove, but I feel like the rhythm's all off. It's that way where you know the tempo and rhythm of a song, you know, instinctively, and then you don't hear it for a while, and then you try and recreate it, and you're either too fast or too slow, and that's kind of how I'm feeling today when I'm doing this review. To put people in perspective, this episode has been recorded on Sunday night, so the night that it drops, and yeah, everything's just a little bit off to the side. It's been an interesting week, so to speak. We kicked off obviously brand new movie club for the month, a little bit of Dr. Black and Mr. Hyde. Looking forward to your reviews for that at the end of the month. And the week started off with really the Hangover episode from October, so it was the culmination of the final movies as part of my 31 of Halloween. So next week will be a new week of podcasts. We'll jump back to doing 4 a week, and there'll be some content of some description out on the old Teapots collective feed as well, which, you know, Chronicle is finished for that. And we now only have 3 active shows, and Where to Begin with Jallo finishes next month, so that'll be finishing up. And yeah, so like it's a weird transitional period for that channel as well, but I have some fun quirky content that I want to do as a kind of post season 3 Chronicle episode that'll be coming your way next week, along with the return of Derek to the podcast as we continue through the Arrow video release of the American Horror Project, doing disc number 2 and box set number 1, which is Premonition. So we'll be doing that review coming for you tomorrow. Thursday's bonus episode, Saturday will be something I don't know, and Sunday will be the return of the Arrow video assortment. So plenty to keep you occupied. Keep your eyes on the Facebook group page, because there's going to be a ton of polls coming up over the next couple of weeks. and those polls will essentially shape what will be December's content under the stairs. It's of course a listener choice December, where the three main shows, the three main episodes dropping on the Mondays, the first 3 Mondays of that month, are controlled by you guys, the listeners, under 3 categories. So tons of stuff coming there. To be a part of that, it's facebook.com/groups/TPutscast. Okay, let's take a short break. You're going to hear promos for shows that I love. You're going to hear the trailer for Offerings. When we return, it's time to look at disc number 36 in the Slasher Classic Collection right after this.
Hey, feeling down? Feeling low? Not enough podcasts about movies in your life? Why not try...
They must be destroyed on sight!
The new Podcast Cure-All, sure to get you right with the world and on a path to better living. We have exploitation, we have Italian horror, we have zombies, we have slashers, we have crime films, we have spaghetti westerns, we even have sci-fi and sex comedies. So take a dose of...
They must be destroyed on sight!
As needed, and let the hosts, Lee Russell, Daniel Harper, Paul Romali, and the odd guest host cure what ails you.
Warning, may cause atrophy, African consumption, black fever, bone shave, chin cough, colic, cramp colic, dropsy of the brain, elephantitis, grocer's itch, jaundice, mania, miasma, mortification, palsy, Pott's disease, rheumatism, scurvy, St. Anthony's fire, summer complaint, and worm fit in some people. Consult a physician before listening.
It was a quiet little town, as American as apple pie. Everything was just as nice can be.
Hi, Gretchen! What's your plan there?
Everything, except for Johnny.
I know how you treat your pets. I seen what you done to your turtle last week.
Nobody was very nice to little Johnny.
He's dead meat! He's good at jump!
Except Gretchen. And now Johnny's not very nice to anybody. The children are all grown up, missing, and dead, except Gretchen. Johnny's sending her unusual offerings of his love.
It doesn't taste like sausage, but it's good.
I think it's real.
This nightmare is real,
David?
and now she's the only one left. Offerings. We only hurt the ones we love.
And welcome back. So you just had the trailer for Offerings. This is disc number 36 in the Slasher Classic Collection. The 88 Films website says, if the slasher film formula teaches us anything, it's not to bully a young child, because chances are that they might grow up to slice, stab and slaughter those who once wronged them. And from Jason Voorhees to Prom Night from 1980, and the late 80s shocker Offerings, there is one thing for sure: the body count is going to build and build as an adult Avenger takes on a slasher rampage of their own. Released in 1989, the blood splash classic Offerings serves up a small town revenge rampage that is among the genre's most madcap to mesmerising. A perfect example of the videotape era terror with a knife-wielding Avenger that is guaranteed to provoke a spine-tingling reaction, this darkly comic and proudly plasma-packed example of teen tormenting excellence has finally arrived back onto the UK shelves in horrible HD, courtesy of the controversial Quarters at 88 Films. This is a brand new 2K restoration from the original 16mm negative, an uncompressed dual mono audio commentary by the slasher-loving podcast The Hysteria Continues, a trailer, optional English subtitles and reversible sleeve with alternate artwork. Technical specs are that it's region locked to region B, the picture format is HD 1781, audio format is LPCM stereo, language is English, subtitles English, certification 18, and runtime is just over an hour and a half. So this was a first time watch for me. I did not know what I was getting into at all with this one, and obviously it makes some claims in the old blurb there that it's, you know, it's going to be in the truest traditions of the slasher genre, and I will give them this. Unlike some of the dubiety that we get with some of these releases in this collection, Offerings is 100% a slasher movie. It follows pretty much the template of a slasher movie and is wholly derivative of Halloween. which I'm kind of alright with. My problems here are not necessarily the killer or the killings, which I actually think are surprisingly well done in this movie. I think it's the overall acting and the meandering nature of the movie. This movie does not feel like a 1989 movie at all. This feels late 70s, early 80s. It's very low budget, like incredibly low budget, and the acting is kind of rank, if I'm honest. But, and I mean, it really is a Halloween ripoff. There's no getting around that. There are scenes from this movie that are basically replications of scenes from Halloween. And for the most part, that works. I mean, when it's not trying to be something that it's not, I think those scenes are quite endearing to watch. I think it's surprisingly vicious for the time period it came out. Like 1989, American horror movies are being gutted, pun intended, of a lot of their violence and gore. That's just the way the MPAA were kind of actioning things. They were going through with plenty of cuts to be made on most movies, and this one feels, almost because it is so low budgety and so maybe innocuous in the view of the MPAA, I think this one gets away with quite a bit. The idea being set up here is obviously this child is bullied and tormented, like really offensively, like to the point where his mother in the beginning scene is a bit too much like, oh, you're gonna grow up like a murderer just like your father. And it's kind of weird to watch. It's just like, well, yeah, if you keep like telling your child that you will be a murderer, your child's going to be a murderer. Just like if you keep telling your child he's going to be a rocket scientist, chances are he might be a rocket scientist. There's a lot of stuff set up. The kid ultimately does some time after murdering someone. He does some time in the mental institute, manages to escape, think Michael Myers, and then goes on a rampage in the town that he used to live in, think Michael Myers. And yeah, it's a lot of similar setups. There's a lot of teen nonsense here and who gives a shit, and a lot of like scenes which feel completely erroneous to the kind of plot being set here, because there is no character you really want to root for or really get behind, because we don't really spend that much time with anyone to a great deal. There is a great kind of police sheriff sort of dude who, plays like this weird kind of comedy role between being terrified and unintentionally hilarious. And, our killer who goes around, for the most part, slicing and dicing people. We don't get to see his face, so it's kind of POV for quite a lot of the movie. And in the end, we get his face, which is all kind of prosthetically laid over to make him look very plain, very Michael Myers-esque. There's a scene, by the way, where he's walking along this he's holding a severed head, and he's walking along this grass, and I swear to God, the music's like, dun 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 dun. It's like fucking walking with a knife. I don't know how I feel about this one overall. I finished it, and at first I kind of thought, well, it's a slasher, so I'm kind of happy that we're getting one of them. And it's one I've never seen before, and it's not terrible, so I kind of feel like that's great. But at the same time, there's a lot that I don't like about it, and it doesn't feel like it's... By 89, I feel like we should be either putting the whole thing to bed, or we should be trying to do something different, like something unusual. Slaughterhouse Rock, for example, was a great one where we were using kind of funny supernatural elements and doing a bit of the Nightmare on Elm Street and a bit of the other stuff, but we still had a slasher thing going on, and it kind of worked all together. And this one to me just feels like a big step back from that. But like I say, it does what it says on the tin. This is a psycho killer going around slashing teens. I mean, isn't that what you want from a slasher movie? And it does it surprisingly well in that capacity. It's nothing genre breaking or revolutionising anything, but it is delivering that. And it's delivering it competently. So I kind of feel like it does its job, even though it's not doing anything remarkable. Its job here is to kill teens, and it kills teens. So I was really stuck, and then I was chatting to our buddy Derek, who's you'll hear tomorrow, doing the American Horror Project, where we're talking about all these weird off the beaten track American horror movies. And he was like that, it's a guilty pleasure. I know it's not a good movie, but I kind of have a soft spot for it. And then kind of post speaking to him, I was like, I kind of feel the same, weirdly. I don't think this is a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. I think also if you're a kind of a hardcore slasher fan, Offerings is one you should tick off the list. But is it a movie I'll ever go back to? I don't know. I don't know, because like I say, for everything that I think it delivers, it does a lot of stuff that is just not very good. So it's a quandary that I'm stuck in, and I kind of feel I have to go with my gut. I'd be hard pushed to say that I liked this movie, but I didn't dislike it either. So overall, as a grade, I'm going to come in with a 2.5 out of 5 for this one. So somewhere between didn't like it and liked it. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. I really don't, but if someone was asking for, you know, if I've had a friend who was a hardcore slasher fan who hadn't checked out offerings, I'd probably recommend it. Because like I say, you get a lot of what you want if you're a fan of that subgenre. As we found out, I'm a fan to an extent of this subgenre, and I expect something a little bit more, which Offerings is never going to give me. So I can't really knock it for doing what it does, but at the same time I can't praise it for doing what it doesn't. So yeah, a 2.5 out of 5 for this movie. A nice short, sharp in review as well, because I really don't have that much to say apart from taking scenes and saying, well, this one's ripped from this movie, this one's ripped from this movie, because it is like a collage, a meaty, bloody slice collage of lots of different things you've seen other movies do before, specifically in this decade. So there you go, 2.5 out of 5 for Offerings. Give it a try if you want. Right, I'm going to take my final break. When I come back, I'll be revealing what disc number 37 is, and we'll be covering it in 3 weeks' time, right after this. And you've been listening to the podcast Under the Stairs. This has been your Sunday 88 Films Slasher Classic Collection. Ooh, a little series of reviews doing disc number 36 on this episode, where we were looking at Offerings. In 3 weeks' time, we will be turning our attention to disc 37, which is Bad Dreams. Another one that I have never fucking heard of. Let's get into some details about this one. According to the 88 Films website, it says, after the success of A Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984, many a movie that moulded together slasher thrills and supernatural chills was rushed into production, from Slaughterhouse Rock from 1988 to The Horror Show from 1989 and Wes Craven's own Shocker from 1989. None, however, were quite as notable nor as notorious as the bombastic blood spiller Bad Dreams from 1987, which roped in its own Freddy Krueger alumni with sexy scream queen starlet Jennifer Rubin from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 The Dream Warriors, also starring the late great B. thespian Richard Lynch of Cut and Run as a Jim Jones-style reverend who begins to avenge his creepy cult of followers from beyond the grave. Bad Dreams features some frantic and ferocious special effects, plenty of tormented teens, and some of the finest frights of the decade. Featuring the legendary Bruce Abbott of Reanimator and produced by Hollywood heavyweight Gail Ann Hurd of Aliens, whilst featuring a screenplay from Die Hard's Stephen E. D'Souza, it's no wonder that Bad Dreams became one of the most popular slasher classics of the 1980s, and 88 Films is proud to present this work of gruesome genius in horrific HD. It might just stop you getting a good night's kip. The special features are Living the Dream, an interview with director Andrew Fleming, Dream Woman, an interview with actress Jennifer Rubin, which runs 40 minutes, Derivative Dreams, an interview with academic and curator Spencer Murphy, audio commentary by genre experts Nathaniel Thompson and Tim Greer from MondoDigital.com, theatrical trailer, reversible sleeve, and the technical specs are regional lock to region B, picture format is HD 185.1, audio format is DTS HDMI 2.0 stereo, language is English, subtitles English, certification 18, and it is an hour and 25 minutes long. I am now really interested about that one. I actually like the sound of that. I love stuff to do with creepy cults, and you throw some supernatural stuff in there, and whoo, you got me interested. Let's see if Bad Dreams can live up to that blurb, ladies and gents. There's a multitude of ways to check out the show. Wherever you're listening to us right now, hit subscribe. That way you get access to all the episodes of Podcast Under the Stairs as and when they drop. You also get access to the entire back catalogue of Teapots content. Do it now, you filthy slut. You can also check out the Teapots Collective. We do Where to Begin with Giallo, Chronicle, a little bit of Opera Omnia, and Doing the Nasty. All free for you over there. Subscribe to both those feeds. It's the best way to support what I do under the stairs and beyond. Visit our website, is teapotscast.com. Our merch page is teapotscast.bigcartel.com. And you can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/teapotscast. You can join the Teapots Collective Facebook page on facebook.com/teapotscast. Couldn't be any easier. You can interact with myself and the Baz on the twin prongs of social media sexiness. Instagram and Twitter both can be followed at teapotscast. The podcast Under the Stairs will return for you tomorrow with the second disc in the American Horror Project series. From box set number 1, we're looking at Premonition. I'll be joined by my good buddy Derek to do that one tomorrow. But until then, wherever you are, wherever the time zone is, and whatever you're up to in the big bad world of ours out there, you're in it. You're surviving it, maybe. This is Duncan McLeish broadcasting live from Under the Stairs, and I am signing off.